Welcome back to another episode of the NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, bringing you the names you know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. Follow on Twitter at NFL Draft Bible. A lot of Player Spotlight Show interviews over there. A lot of information with the Senior Bowl now being wrapped up, the All-Star Game circuit now officially being over. A lot of great work over there. NFLDraftBible.com. Again, I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, and we're now joined by defensive back Devin Butler, who just finished his collegiate career as a grad transfer over at Syracuse University before this year. Though he was right in nearby South Bend, as you can see by his T-shirt, playing for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And Devin, we really appreciate you taking some time to chat today. How's everything going?
Good. It's going good. Thank you for having me on here. I appreciate that.
Hey, the pleasure is all mine, absolutely. Now, to give people a better idea of who exactly we're chatting with, Devin, you're from Washington, D.C., and coming out of high school, I mean, you're a big-time recruit. You're a four-star recruit. I got to think finding a college to attend, not only for obviously the football aspect of things, but just, for an education as well. I mean, that's a huge part of it as well, getting a free education. And again, having these schools contact you left to right every single day, I'm sure it was one of the toughest decisions you've had to make yet. What was the recruiting process like for you, and how did Notre Dame ultimately win you over coming out of high school?
Well, the recruiting process, it was pretty short for me, honestly. I my decision before the summer going into my senior year. So I spent a lot of my junior year going on a lot of visits and talking to a lot of coaches. And when I went to Notre Dame, it felt like home. I had ended up going on a real big, went to Michigan State, Northwestern, Wisconsin, and I ended it with Notre Dame, and I was there with my parents. And I just remembered immediately stepping on campus and just feeling at home, just tradition and the people there. It was really good people, and, I just feel grateful that I was able to have that opportunity to play and to get my degree from there.
And to give people kind of more of an idea of the talented football player that you were, Devin, I mean, you were able to come into Notre Dame right away and play as a true freshman. You don't really see that very often. Was that a big selling point to you in the recruiting process, the opportunity to play right away and to play at a very prestigious university like Notre Dame, like you were right away?
Well, in any case, going through recruiting, you have to know that, whatever the coaches tell you have to take it with a grain of salt. So, put in the work yourself. So, it really wasn't a selling point. It was just something that I knew that I had to accomplish myself. And when I accomplished it, it was something that I was very proud of and something that my family was very proud of. And it was just a great experience, honestly, and it helped groom me into the young man that I am today.
Absolutely. Again, you're able to play right away as a true freshman at Notre Dame, but it wasn't until your sophomore year, Devin, against Purdue, when you recorded your very first interception at the college football level. Take us through that play if you can. How was the ball in your hands when the referees decided to blow the whistle?
Okay, yeah, that was a good play. We were playing Purdue at Lucas Oil Stadium. It was like our annual Shamrock Series game, so we were wearing like our special uniforms. And Cole Luke had got a concussion in the third quarter, so I came in and I relieved him. And I think it was probably the second drive that I was in. It was the third and medium, so we was in fire zone coverage. And in fire zones, I have number one man on deep. And, our coach gives us the option to either press or play off. And being the aggressive guy that I am, I like to press. So I was pressing him, and he tried to release outside, but I had outside leverage. So I forced him back inside, and I had eyes on the quarterback, and he was looking him down the whole way. As soon as he released the ball, I just jumped in front of it. I wish I could have kept my feet, but, it is what it is.
Hey, needless to say, it was still a great play, and your very first interception at the college level coming against Purdue. Now talk about the fan base. I mean, Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish fan base, I mean, they're spread out all across the country. Again, one of the best in the country. What was it like playing in front of over 80,000 fans, week in and week out there at the house that Newt Rockne built?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it's one of those experiences that you can't really describe. running out of that tunnel with those gold helmets on is something special. And I mean, it's really just almost breathtaking, honestly. Like, I almost get chills even when I'm thinking about it now.
No doubt about it. And again, you spent your first, you played 3 years at Notre Dame. You took 2016 off, and then you went on to transfer to Syracuse University. I don't want to get into any specifics, Devin, but I'll let you say it. It's your show. It's the Player Spotlight show. We let you speak. But there was an off-the-field situation there that you dealt with during your time at Notre Dame. It's going to come up in conversations, obviously, with NFL scouts and pro scouts. What do you tell them what happened? What exactly... how do you get into that situation when chatting with NFL teams and scouts?
Well, I just try to convey that it was an unfortunate misunderstanding between myself and the South Bend Police Department. And since the arrest, I had went back to Notre Dame, completed my studies, got my degree, and all the charges have been dropped. So, the truth came to light in the situation, and, I moved forward from it, and I battled through that adversity at that time, and it helped me to learn a lot about myself.
Again, we're chatting with the 2018 NFL Draft prospect. He's the cornerback out of Syracuse University, formerly of Notre Dame. Devin Butler here on the NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight show. And, I talked to hundreds of prospects, Devin, throughout each draft season, and I'm always curious, when you hear that 2018 NFL Draft prospect, your college days are officially over. What kind of goes through your mind when you hear that? Has it hit you yet?
Yeah, it's still kind of surreal. It's something that you've been thinking about and dreaming about and hoping for since, you were a young kid. And, it's just, you just got to try to take it one day at a time, honestly. And you just got to put your work in every day, put one foot in front of the other, and just take it inch by inch.
No doubt about it. Again, you spent most of your time at the college level at Notre Dame, Devin. How did you ultimately decide that you would finish out your college career at Syracuse University?
There's a coach named J.B. Gerald at Syracuse, and he was somebody who was very well respected out of D.C. and someone that I had heard a lot about, and someone who he's holding just for being good for the youth out of D.C. So I knew that he would take care of me, and I knew that he always had my best interest in mind. So, and I also felt that Syracuse had offered a great master's program in instructional design, and the coach in there was great, and Coach Babers, and I really just felt like it was a good spot for me to be. They had a young group of DBs, and I felt like I was able to come in there and help to guide them a little bit and just to impart some wisdom on them in my time there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I got to think that, it's probably not the easiest situation, going as a grad transfer from Notre Dame to Syracuse or, no matter what school you're coming from, just knowing that it's your final year and you're going to have to fit in with a new group of guys. How were you able to do that and kind of talk about the leadership qualities that you carry?
Well, I think that, once you come in, a lot of it is just your attitude. And, once you come in and you show the guys that you're there to work and that you're there for them and that you're completely bought in, it's hard for anybody to not, gel with that type of person. And I feel as though, I was always trying to be a team player. I was always there for the guys. I wanted them to know that I wasn't just here for a year. It wasn't just a 1-year thing. Like, I'm a lifetime friend to them.
Yeah, and, anybody who pays attention to college football or the NFL, they know a lot of talent has come out of both Notre Dame and Syracuse over the years. And, Devin, you've been able to play against some really great wide receivers, whether it's been Will Fuller there at Notre Dame, you want to talk about some opponents, Michael Thomas, Braxton Miller and company over at Ohio State. Some really top-notch wide receivers over the years, which leads me to ask you, who do you think is the best receiver that you've lined up against?
The best receiver I had lined up against in my college career, I'd honestly would say it would probably be a tie between Devontae Parker and Nelson Aguilar. Those are two really good guys. Devontae is a really big body, someone who runs real smooth. And when he was at Louisville, he just had a great physical stature. So it was a physical battle between him and myself. And with Nelson, he's just somebody who's so smooth with his routes and somebody who changes direction really well and is dangerous when the ball's in his hands. So that's definitely it was a tough task.
To say the least. I mean, both went on to be first-round picks in the NFL draft, so that's, I mean, really the conversation could end right there. I mean, two former first-round picks. I mean, doesn't get too much better than that, and of course, they've gone on to have very nice pro careers so far. Devin, if you could give yourself a brief scouting report, what would you say is your biggest strength, and what is one thing that you still feel that you could work on to get better at?
I would say that one of my greatest strengths is that I'm very physical at the line of scrimmage. Whether that's in press coverage or whether that's in run support. I'm someone who takes a lot of pride in being fit and out physicaling the man, in front of me. I would say one of the things that I need to work on would possibly be just my anticipation and my ball skills in a way. I think that that's something that I've shown that I can do, but it's just something that I need to take the next step in so I can take my game to the next level.
No doubt, and your college football career officially ended. You were able to participate in the All-Star Game circuit, and that was a few weeks ago. You were able to participate in the 2018 Tropical Bowl. What was that experience like going up against guys that are really fighting to reach the same dream as you, and that's to make it to the National Football League?
It was fun, just being out there and competing with all those guys, just guys that have a great skill sets from all different places. I mean, it's fun when you get to do things like that because you just get to see the different takes on football. And someone like me, I like to observe a lot of different football, so I know that was great for me. I just got to see receivers that I probably hadn't seen in a while, and it was a great experience. I think I got a lot better, and I think I helped some of the other receivers get better as well.
Were you able to meet with any teams out there? I mean, what were the conversations like that you had with any NFL scouts that you were able to meet with?
Yeah, I met with several scouts while I was there. A lot of the conversations were the typical things of where you see yourself, how you see yourself fitting in with this organization, and things of that sort. And since then, I've been just focusing on my training, and my agent's been doing a lot of those conversations.
Okay, and of course now all the focus shifts to the pro day, to the combine. Where exactly are you training at for your pro day, and do you have any goals, any specific numbers in mind that you'd like to hit?
I'm training at a facility called Perform. It's down in Davie, Florida. In terms of numbers, I just try to get better every day. I just try to outdo myself the next day than I did the last day, and just add on those positive days, and then in the end, the work will pay for itself.
No doubt about it. Well, I'll tell you what, Devin, I'm sure the weather there in Davie, Florida is a lot better than it is down in South Bend or Syracuse, New York. So that alone, I mean, you're winning right there, no doubt about it. Again, a few more questions for you, Devin, then we'll let you go. We're chatting with 2018 NFL Draft prospect, cornerback out of Syracuse University by way of Notre Dame. He's Devin Butler. And Devin, if you had to go back and choose just one game out of your collegiate career for a scout to go back and check out, have any specific game in mind?
I would probably say the Middle Tennessee State game from this year at Syracuse. That was I played a lot of nickel that game against Richie James, who's a pretty well-known slot receiver down there. I think I showed a lot of physicality in that game, a lot of mental toughness. It was a back-and-forth game. We ended up losing the game, but the defense ourselves, we put ourselves in the position, we put the offense in the position to possibly go out there and score a game-winning touchdown, but the chips fell as they did.
Is there a current? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think that game just a lot of my tackling abilities and a lot of my coverage ability as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you mentioned it was a hard-fought game, and a lot of people, maybe even still today, they think Middle Tennessee State, how did you lose against them? But that's a program that's really been on the rise over the years. Definitely. And here we are talking about the NFL draft. They've fleshed out quite a few really good football players over the last couple of years. So that's a saying it was a hard fought matchup against Middle Tennessee State. That doesn't carry the same. It carries a lot more weight now than it would even 5 years ago. Or again, hard fought game there. But I'll have to go back and check out that game myself, Devin. Again against Middle Tennessee State this past season. So you're at Syracuse. Is there a current or former NFL player that you kind of try and model your game after? Maybe take bits and pieces of their game and add it onto your own?
Well, see, I like to press people I like to be a press corner. So I think one of the best press corners to ever play the game is Patrick Peterson. You know, he's somebody who week in and week out is in the best receivers' grill and locking them up. So that's somebody who I've watched, intently since he was at LSU. And I just think that the way he plays the game is good. He's a student of the game and he studies the game and he studies the receiver. Trying to do is try to emulate is just taking that mental aspect of the game to the next level.
Well, hey, and I know it's a popularity contest, but I think he's been in the Pro Bowl every year since he's gotten into the league, so can't go wrong with that. Again, one of the top cornerbacks in the league, Patrick Peterson. Final question for you, and that is, let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers that are listening to this very interview. Why should they want the defensive back out of Syracuse, Devin Butler, a part of their team?
I would say that Devin is someone who's really hungry, someone who's a quick learner, someone who, once he finds his way onto the field, he learns to maximize his opportunities. And I think that he's a great teammate and he's a great person to have in the locker room. And he's played a lot of special teams in his career. And he's somebody who's never shied away from the spotlight and is always ready to go and get it.
All right, sounds good. Devin, really appreciate you taking some time to chat this afternoon. And we're certainly wishing you all the best, man. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.